What's up, YouTube? So tonight, man, it's gonna be a quick little stream. As always, 'cause I ain't really no streaming, bro. I just be doing this to basically build the channel up and engage with the people who support me. So today we'll be reacting to the 100K track and Trap Lord Ross introduced stream video, and basically they was talking about the snitch allegations on 100K track of him turning in a lot of stuff on Melly and all type of stuff, kingvon and everything. So let's get right to it, man.
By advertising on YouTube, I grow my business by reaching my most important customers, people like Allison. She's a fashion music.
They throwing the W's in the chat. They're saying they got you. And yeah, man. So we're here with 100K track, man. I'm really glad to be here with you. Really appreciate you checking in, and I'm excited to talk to you, man. You know, I feel like we got a lot to talk about. You know, I'm a fan of you and what you've achieved, and you know what I'm saying? I feel like hopefully we're gonna have a really good conversation. Maybe you know, I'm down to answer some hard questions. Maybe you are too, but at the same time, you know, I'm gonna keep it respectful, and I'm just super excited to chop it up with you, man, because realistically I think we got two people here that love hip-hop, and you know what I'm saying, just want to see the scene flourish and see everyone well. So, and welcome, and you know what I'm saying, thank you for coming through, man.
No, for sure. I mean, when I first, and I've been seeing a couple of your stuff, because there's a lot of interesting content on your page. And when you dropped that where I was at, I was traveling, and my security guard was like, "Yo, bro, did you see this? It went viral, huh?" Because I be so busy, man. Like it takes me probably a couple days to even like see what's going on in the world, because I'm so in my own world. So when I seen it, I'm like, I watched it. I'm like, I even DM'd you. I said, interesting. First thing I know, was like, yo, this took a long time. This took a crazy amount of time, boy. I don't know how long you dedicated to do that. But that was something that took a lot of information, a lot of effort. So, no. But I didn't put no information. I didn't really want to voice my opinion on it, because I learned sometimes when stuff is too early and you voice your opinion, people take it the wrong way. So that's why I let everybody else voice their opinion on it, and I just looked at it from an outside person looking at it.
Well, I really appreciate that, man, because it's interesting. When I dropped that documentary, and I worked on it for like, we're talking like 3 or 4 months. You know, I read every tweet Von ever made. I've always been a Von fan anyway, but like I re-listened to his whole catalog, you know, really carefully, really paid attention. And, you know, when that documentary came out, you know, some people really liked it. Some people didn't like it. You know, I was getting a lot of messages from a lot of different people, you know, some positive, some negative, some people saying they're going to do all type of shit. But,
right.
you know what I'm saying? You know, you hit me up, and like you said, you kind of, you know, you pointed out that a lot of work went into that documentary. And, you know, it wasn't really like, I wasn't trying to disrespect Von or his people, but like, I was really just trying to paint a picture of like the life this guy was living. And, you know, a lot of the things that he said and he spoke on, whether it's in his music or on his Twitter and stuff while he was alive. And, you know, a lot of people had opinions on that. You spoke about it recently on the Off the Record podcast with academics. And I guess like, before we get into like a sort of deep debate about, you know, Von and what he was like, you know, I'd love to maybe for you to just kind of recap on like what your relationship was like with Von, and like time with Von, really like the height of his career, when he was the man that everybody wanted to mess with in hip hop. So maybe you could just give me a little rundown of like, you know, obviously you've had a long career, you've done a lot of different things, but how did you end up at the point where you were working with Von and kind of, you know, working so closely with him, and what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, Von, my relationship with Von has always been you know what I'm saying, it's always been a brother type of relationship. You know, I was fortunate to be moving with YNW Melly before he turned himself in with his situation. And when we was moving around, we got introduced to, you know, to Dirt. We got introduced to the whole, you know, OTF camp. And Von and Melly really, really locked in. Like, they had a like an undeniable bond. You know what I'm saying? This was before Von really starting to go crazy. I'm talking about like early. Feel me? So moving on with Melly every day, and then Von around. So I actually hang with Von way before I started managing him. Like before we got into business together, we was like just hanging like friends, like like brothers first. I got a chance to really just get to know him personally, and then from there, when Melly got incarcerated, the crazy story dropped. He had a couple things going on. He had a couple legal situations in Atlanta. Me and him end up situating a couple stuff together, financially, and just having his back as a big brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too much older than Vaughn. Probably like 3 years older than Vaughn. So maybe four. So we was always close. When it comes to like this, being with, just having the same type of perspective. But I just had his back. Just had his back on some situations before we got into business. And from me just having his back, genuinely, he called me one day from jail and was just like, "Hey, bro, like I want you to manage me. I want you to, I want you to be my manager. I see what you do with Melly, see what you do with your brand. I would love for you to do that with me." And at first I was skeptical on it because I'm like, yo, you with Dirt. I don't want Dirt to feel like, or nobody in the camp to feel like I'm trying to step on nobody's toes. It was never my intention to, to come and take Vaughn away from nobody. Like I just rock with him as a person. So, me and him had a conversation, multiple conversations. I turned it down multiple times to a point where he called. He was like, "Bro, forget. I need you to manage me as a brother. Like that's why I really want you to be my manager because I trust you. I trust your judgment. I see you really care." So when he approached me like that, I'm like, okay, let me, what I'm saying, let's do it. And we got with Dirk on the phone, spoke to Dirk, multiple times, and we all came to the agreement. He was super excited about it. He like, "Yo, Crack, I rock you. I love what you got going. You've been a good dude, what I'm saying, in my eyes, man. Go ahead." So he gave me his blessings on that because I didn't want to make it feel awkward. So once Dirk gave me the blessings and we all was in, cahoots with that idea, we just locked it in, and then from there it's just legendary.
Meet Grammar. Oh, your go-to solution for getting quality work done quickly.
Ready for the big picture today, Remy? Oh yeah, you got this.
And ensuring peak productivity when you need it the most. Grammarly Go brings AI to every text box, helping you create thoughtful writing in a fraction of the time. You can instantly make emails shorter or longer.
So, you got involved with Vaughn and you kind of took him on as a client, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, you kind of were, you were getting to know him at the early stages of his career. It seems like when Crazy Story dropped, that kind of just set a bomb off and just took Vaughn to a whole other level, right? So I'd love to know from your perspective, from being on the inside, just like, what was life like when change was on? Because obviously, whatever you want to say of the past, he got to a point in life where he became, a millionaire, a celebrity, and you kind of watched that transformation. So I'd love to know what it was like for you to witness that happening, and like what was it about him? And
because it's like it's when the money's coming in, the shows, the 10,000s, 20,000s a show, 30,000. He's having states as Bond, not as Dirk homie, as his own entity. So it was just to see the growth and just to see him being happy, man, being able to just like buy the clothes he wanted, dress the way he wanted to dress, take care of his homeboys, take care of his family. That was a very exciting time. It made me really feel like, damn, like you really have second chances in life. Like you could be facing life, or you could be, in a situation where you homeless or have nothing, and in the mass of like months and a little bit under a year, you could get everything you ever wanted. So it was to see him being able to, like prosper like that.
yeah, man.
So,
I think when it comes to like, for me, I'm somebody that's studied period of time, and it's almost like I had two chapters when he was you know, whether you want in the streets or in the struggle. And then he kind of broke through, got out of jail, and changed his life and became this superstar. And I guess,
Right.
you know, it must be interesting and inspiring to see somebody go from, you know, the situation they were in before to becoming this guy. You know, something that really stood out to me was, you know, he bought his mother a house, right, in
Yeah.
the suburbs and stuff. And you know, that's something not a lot of people get to do, right?
Nope. And that was fire, man. Bought her a house, bought her a car. He did everything he had to do as a young man, as a son, as a brother, as a friend. So, you know, away from his death, you know what I'm saying, I'm very happy and proud to see what he was able to do for everybody else before his untimely passing. So it's a blessing, because like you said, you could live to be 99 years old, 100 years old, and never get a chance to do that what he did for his family and his people. So, you know, that's a very proud moments, a lot of proud moments.
For sure. So I heard you talking on the off the record podcast, and you know, I'm not going to press you on too much stuff specifically, but I guess yourself and a few other people have kind of, especially people close to Von, have kind of come out since my documentary and kind of said, you know, kind of said you don't necessarily believe that Von did all of those things, or that those things aren't proven. I guess just something I feel like I got to ask you off the bat, and I'm not trying to catch you out, but do you believe that Von killed anyone, or do you believe that some of the stories about him are true, or do you believe it's all false? Just so we can kind of get as a starting point, like what your position is on
Right.
the stuff you got up
I
to.
mean, the thing is, right, when you said, do you believe? I mean, shit, I believe in a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? And some for good, some for bad. And that's just not with just Vaughn, it's with other individuals as well. But when you ask me, do I feel like he killed somebody, I could only go based on an answer that's in reality, no, because he's a different thing. And you know, I know you've seen my episode with academics, and you know that was one of my strong points. Is like I, I I'm okay with everybody being expressive, and I'm okay with, you know, with fans and supporters and anybody having their own, you know what I'm saying, thought of what they thought or what they think he is or was. But in reality, Bond has never been convicted of no murder, no charges. So no, he haven't killed anybody. So I only could go based on what, you know what I'm saying? I can't stretch my imagination to be like, yeah, I think he killed somebody. Yeah, I think he got 10 bodies. Yeah, I think he don't. Because in reality, he went to court, went to trial for these things, and he was found not guilty. So no, me personally, I don't believe Vaughn had killed anybody because he never got caught, convicted of any of those charges. You know?
So I guess the follow up that I got asked to that is kind of like, you know, what were you thinking of all the stuff he was saying in his music? Because I think something that's been really difficult for me to process after I put this video out and I had so much backlash was like, when Von was alive, it seemed like the thing about him that everyone was excited about was that he was the realist. Von's the realist. Like he says facts, and he's on songs saying he killed 7 people and that they killed the witnesses in his case, and that's why he beat the case. So
Right.
it's one of those ones where it's kind of like, obviously I understand that people that are involved with other people got to keep it solid, but I feel like at the same time, it's sort of really, it's been really interesting for me to kind of see so many people come out, kind of say like it's all cap. Really, it's essentially in a way you're kind of saying that all the stuff that Von was talking about when he was here in his songs was cap.
I personally, I'm not saying it was cap, right? Because I don't know. I can't tell you. I wasn't with him. Like, you know, if we talk about the timeline of me knowing Vaughn, unfortunately, it wasn't the timeline where he's in oblock looking for a op now and drilling and things like that and trying to get revenge for his fallen comrades and his friends and his family. Now, does all of those scenarios affect a decision where he might potentially had to protect himself or had to go do things that most of us human beings wouldn't do, which is take a life? Maybe. Could be, yes. So I'm not saying anything cap. He have maybe he has 7 bodies? Maybe. Maybe he got 10? Maybe. I can't tell you yet, like you know, because I wasn't there physically with him at that time. When I met him, he was trying to change his life and he was already you know, doing things different. But can I tell you that I know 1,000% that he have killed somebody. No, because in the eyes of the law, he never been found guilty. So I only could go based on that strand of the reality part is that he's never been convicted of murder. So no, I don't think he have any bodies because he never been convicted. I know Jeffrey Dahmer got convicted. I know a couple of my homeboys that's charged right now for murder that's got convicted. And you ask me, yo, do so and so kill somebody? Yes, he did. He got found guilty for doing it. So I could say yes because in the eyes of the law, he's been proven guilty. And for Vaughn, I can't say that because every case he ever had got dismissed. So you know what I'm saying? His verdict was always innocent. So
people in the chat are saying, would you say OJ is guilty or innocent?
OJ was what? Not guilty, right?
Yeah, but come on.
I mean, what you want me to
Hey, so for y'all, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know this man Track personally, but it's just something about him that's cringe to me. Like he just seemed a little weird, like a little off. I ain't gonna lie. Like he don't seem like a genuine cat. He seemed like a weird, sneaky dude that do shit in the back scenes of shit. Like I can't explain it for real. He just y'all know what I'm saying. If you feel the same way, he just something ain't right about this man. Let's continue.
Hey, judge and the jury, y'all got to tell them that's what they felt like. It was not guilty.
It's a fair answer. You got to keep it solid. I think OJ got a couple of bodies, but no, I'm saying is what it is. But no, back to what you were saying. I think, I understand that. I think, some people got to keep it solid, and that's the way they got to see it. Some people got to see it just from taking what he said on its merits and from his word. I think for me as a fan, I mentioned this when I did the debate with academics about Von, and it was kind of like, why would you say this about Von? And my explanation was like, look, I was a fan of Von's music before I even thought to do a video about him. I was just a fan listening to his music and thinking, God damn, this guy's saying he got hella bodies, and what I'm saying, is this true? Like I got to go and look this up, and it was only through looking it up and being like, it seems like it all checks out. Like seems like story checks out, and he's doing this stuff. But I guess what you said, I think interesting is it's like, you didn't meet Von when in the streets supposedly by he says he was catching bodies back in the day, but you didn't know him at that point.
No, I didn't.
And I guess it's a case of like, Von was clearly a very charismatic dude and very charming. Do you think that, do you feel like, do you ever feel like you get the sense that maybe you were like, people were kind of charmed by Von, or it's because I've watched a lot of recent footage of him being a fun, smiling, happy guy, and it sort of feels like it's hard to believe that dude would kill anyone. But then you see the old tweets, and you're kind of like, he's saying he did. So can you tell me a bit about his personality and whether you felt maybe maybe his charm disarmed people?
Right. I mean, the thing is, I will never say that maybe, or I would never say like, I don't think that Von wouldn't kill somebody, because let's look at the reality of the situation. And you know what I'm saying? I'm playing devil's advocate here as well, because if I'm in a place like Chicago where my friends are constantly targets and I'm a target, and 8 times out of 10, I might have to defend myself to a point where it might be a chance where I might have to take somebody's life or take my own. So, of course. But as far as him as an individual, man, the man was very, you know what I'm saying? He's an outgoing person, sense of humor, never try to be too tough, never try to be too gangster, was always cool, was always, he was comfortable in his skin. He'll smile, laugh, joke, he'll cry. If he's sad, he'll cry. Like, he'll cry in front of you, you know what I'm saying? He didn't feel like he had to hold any type of image for nobody. And he loved sports, you know what I'm saying? He loved He loved being active. So he was somebody that every time he get a chance to, he would to have a good conversation, to be in a good mood. He wasn't really the one that's like a Debbie Downer where it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't like this. I hate this ain't going right. He was very, very like optimistic.
It's it's interesting what you say. I think Von, obviously he was, he seems like a complicated man. He clearly, whether or not you believe that he, was put in the situation where he had to kill somebody to defend himself or to defend his people, he clearly went through a lot. And I got sympathy for anybody that's placed in a situation where it's kill or be killed, and you have to defend yourself. And I don't mean to demonize anybody that's been in that situation. I think the aspect I think a lot of people came at me at was over the idea that like I labeled Von as this serial killer, when a lot of people from difficult environments are placed in a situation where they defend themselves and use force. I think
Yeah.
I think something that I wanted to make clear to people is, it's like, look, I don't think Von is a serial killer because he had to kill to survive in a dangerous environment. I felt like he crossed that line when he made so much music about the murders, and then also kind of really reveled in the continuation of murder, and kind of like whether you the situation of Man or kind of FBG Duck losing his life. I think it was always Von's attitude of being really kind of like celebrating death and celebrating murder. Something I wanted to ask you really, as somebody that was on the inside, like, did you ever feel like, when, for example, when Duck was killed, what did you see from Von around that time? He obviously was online sort of celebrating and was happy about Duck dying, whether or not you believe he had anything to do with it. But like, did you feel like you saw a side of him where, he was happy about death?
The thing about Duck murder is an ongoing case, and I do have clients, Muab, and I got close friends, like Charles and Lowe's, that is, um, facing those charges. So there's not too much I can say about it, because I don't want anything on my counsel to say. I don't want to say anything, and then now, because I got ties with these guys that they affect it. So I'm gonna just very simply deny any question with Duck. But I can say, when someone lose their life in that type of environment, it's celebrated by the other side, regardless of if they have involvement anyway. So if Duck was alive, vice versa, and one or somebody else would, to lose their life, I'm pretty sure Duck and that camp would be happy, or would be, would have a smile on their face. So I don't doubt that for sure. Like, he probably was happy, and maybe that whole neighborhood was happy. Not to say they were involved, but it's just that's the type of accommodate each other. Once either or side paths, find enjoyment out of that. So.
I get where you're coming from. So, I understand maybe you don't want to answer anything specifically on the Duck situation, but you did just mention you manage Muwop. And
yes,
I think that that's something that I found interesting, because
your vibe. Busy Hard Seltzer, flavor for every vibe.
before Muwop went away, his career was starting to come up, and he was releasing a lot of music. And I really liked, I liked a lot of the songs that Muwop released when he was out here. And there's that song Track Still with it's Muwop, is it Boss Top too, right?
Boss Top and DQ from
DQ. And that's a hard track. And
appreciate it.
I had that on heavy rotation when that came out.
That was my first single back with music to 5 years, so I'm pretty excited about that, right?
Yeah, man. That made a big splash. I guess the thing I wanted to ask maybe more on the Muwop front is, it's sort of like, what's the motivation when it comes to working with a guy like Muwop? I guess there's a personal relationship there when it comes to Von, but I think it's the same. It begs the same question, I think, with Von, where it's kind of like, if you just take a step back and look at the content of Muwop's music, I think he was making good songs, and he was clearly had a lot of potential as a rapper. But he had that same thing as Kingvon, where you kind of felt like, he's maybe talking a little too reckless some of these songs. That's kind of how I felt when I heard some of those songs. So when you signed when you started with Muwop, was there ever a sense of sort of feeling like, maybe this guy's music's too raw or too real, or kind of, what was your feeling on that front?
To be real with you, bro, like Muwop was very early in his career as an artist. He had to learn how to really put words together and lyrics together, and he started to get the hang of it. But I enjoyed working with Muwop. I'm very close to the whole oblock, the whole get back in party, versus from moving with Vaughn, just having my own personal relationship. So if I could help any of them change their life for the better and keep it changed for the better, then I'm always gonna be, what I'm saying, head first with that drive. So, man, free move out, man, and what I'm saying. Hopefully, God willing, that situation did not occur like how they mentioned, and he gets his freedom. And and if it did occur like that, then he got to, what I'm saying, he got to face the consequence. Like anything you do as a man in life, you got to be able to stand on your own too for whatever decision you make. But what I'm saying, I would hate to see it happen like that, because there's so much potential to move out from just the same charismatic energy, the same charming look and vibe that he gives out to the public, and the realness of the of the streets that's in him, just from his environment. Muwop is a dope artist, a dope person, man, a real cool guy, somebody I consider a friend and a brother. So I'm hoping the best for it, but I don't. I kind of like play a thin line when it comes to my clients and my artists as well, because it's like I have to do my job as an executive, as a record label, as a manager, to ensure your success. That's how I eat. That's how I see my family, my kids. That's how you see your family and kids. So regardless of what content you give me, I'm gonna do my best to package it, to sell it, to market it, to make it the best it could be. Now, if you come with butterflies and if you come with suicidal thoughts, if you come with murderous conversations, I'm. It's a thin line for me before I jump in and say, "Hey, bro, you sure you want to talk about that?" Because if you are man enough, and everybody's over 18, and if you are man enough to put that on a record and you putting that energy out, then it's not my job to fix your corrections. It's my job to make sure it gets the best potential marketing, and and put it out the best way, and make sure it's received in a way where it's business and it's professional. So I'm not here to change nobody's dialogue, concept, or how they feel like in life. Everybody go through their own motions. Everybody got their own, what I'm saying, got their own thought of, you know, thought frame of mind, mentality, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not, me as a 100K track, I'm not here to change nobody on how they want to present themselves. I'm just here to make sure you present yourself in an honorable way, in a way that is going to be efficient for you to provide for yourself, and for me to make sure my business is being done right, and we take it from there. Okay?
I really respect that you said that, especially when it comes to Muwop. I think because I think one of the things that I've been finding difficult with a lot of the stuff going around is this idea of people kind of denying Von did any of these things, even though I can accept he wasn't convicted in a court of law for a murder, but he said a lot of times that he thought he was killing shit. But like you said about Muwop, I think that's I really respect you saying that, as far as like you hope that things didn't go down the way that people are saying they did. But if they did and he gets convicted, he's take the consequences, I think, as a man. And I think that's something I really respect you saying that, because I think I've almost felt like so many people have been kind of like denying that Von was involved in all these things. And I get where they're coming from, but I think it's sort of wrong to kind of gaslight the victims and the victims' families that, they have their opinion about what happened, and obviously nobody's been caught, and the Von's no longer here and stuff. But like you say, I think with Muwop, I'm a big fan of Muwop's music, and I think it's sort of you got to let the courts play out, and you got to let the evidence come out and all that kind of thing. I guess that brings us to the next situation I want to talk about, which obviously is YNW. He's facing really serious charges. I'm a huge Melly fan. I love Melly's music. I've got Melly songs that I've spun, I think some of my top songs of each year when I get Spotify of the songs I've played the most. There's always some Melly on there. So I was devastated to hear the news that sitting down for a minute, especially the situation and stuff with which I'm sure you're not going to want to talk on, but I guess what I want to ask you on that front is like, I'm really hoping that Melly's case can kind of draw to a conclusion soon, and we're going to get a result one way or the other. But what was your experience of spending time with Melly? Because he didn't have that reputation that Von had as someone that had all of these bodies, but he did have a reputation as a tough guy in the streets that did any shit. So what was your experience like running around with Melly? And then, I'd love to know maybe how you feel about the case and just, how you hope it's going to go.
I mean, moving on with Melly that's my first artist, other than Jack Boy, with Sniper Gang that I managed. So, you know what I'm saying? Melly was more like of somebody to me that introduced me to a new world when it comes to like, because the level of success he attained at a very early career, I was able to travel the world. I was able to meet a lot of people. I was able to experience life in a different way financially. So I got a lot of love and a lot of respect for Melly and a lot of appreciation, a lot of gratitude, and vice versa. Him for me, you know what I'm saying? Because taking him under my wing and pushing him and breaking him as an artist and always being supportive, he knows. He knows. I know he feels the same way about me. But man, Melly's is an amazing person. Like his music stays, speak it for himself. Like the way he is on the record, the way he's able to make you feel comfortable, the way he's able to make you feel loved, the way he's able to make you feel feared, feel, you know what I'm saying, concerned. He channeled emotions through music, and he's like that in real life. So just being with him, I learned so much on just being, you know what I'm saying, like a human, just seeing how he's able to just his emotions and his thoughts and the way he's able to put it in, out on paper, or just he walked in his feelings basically. You know what I'm saying? He wears his heart on his sleeves. So, you know what I'm saying? Free Melly, taste wise. I personally don't believe this young man will be at fault for killing his two best friends, that he got tatted on his face, that he did everything for. I moved.
And that's fake, because there's allegations going around that Honey K Track did turn Melly's phone into law enforcement, knowing that it could have been any, what I want to say, hardcore evidence that'll stick to him to get him convicted for those two murders if he did do it. And I just honestly feel like this man been cooperating too much with law enforcement when it comes to the YNW Melly case. But let's see what he got to say about this.
With Stack and Juvie. I wasn't just moving around with Melly, it was OW. So I was able to
It's
see
fake.
hands-on that experience Stack had with him, Juvie had with him. And honestly, if Matt could hurt and potentially kill his two friends, then I wouldn't be able to like even see it coming, because he never showed that type of energy in person. Like it was always like Jackie Juvie was always someone that he loves, and always, it was people that he cherished and wanted to see. This man bought a 5-bedroom house. His friends there, second Juvie, like his first couple hundreds of thousands, he gave the money. Like when he went shopping, they went shopping, and it wasn't no you know what I'm saying, like extortion. It was like he genuinely loved to see them happy, just like how they would love to see him happy. So man, I think that whole scenario is baffling, bro, because it's like you got the prosecutor, you got the police telling the world and telling myself and telling everybody else that this man committed his crimes, and to those two individuals, these ain't wearing no ops, these wasn't sliding on the block. So I think this case is gonna be is going down in history for wrongfully accused. I feel like Melly's gonna come out. He's gonna be victorious. He's gonna prove his innocence. He's gonna take his career to the next level. He's gonna continue supporting Stack and Juvie family. He's gonna continue doing the best things he was doing for the community that he was, which was Gifford and the Vero Beats and putting on for those kids out there. And I don't think the world's gonna be shocked. I really think the world knows Melly's innocent. I feel like the people that have the doubts that think that he potentially could do that, when the answer comes out, they're gonna be like, you know what, I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, this man was obviously mistaken identity, obviously accused of something due to his demographic, due to his looks, due to his environment. I feel like he was a target for that situation.
Yeah, I think I'm a huge Melly fan, right? It's almost like the selfish part of me just wants Melly to beat the case so I can get another Melly album. That's the selfish
I mean,
part of me.
You're gonna get that regardless. You beat the case, don't beat the case. Melly's dropping more music.
Hey,
So.
that's good news. I think when it comes to the case, I think I'd been following Melly's career, and I think as well, like I saw that documentary where I think the documentary was released after Sack and Juvie passed away, but he's in that documentary with them, and it's sort of it's feels just impossible that these four friends would go for it to go down like that. I think anybody that's followed Melly and his crew closely just found that really hard to believe. But I guess the question I want to ask you, almost like mirroring what we said with what it said earlier, was I think from a fan perspective and from a friend perspective, you want it to work out that they're innocent. But if they are found guilty, is that something where you feel like you can accept that just that's it is what it is, that's how it went down, and unfortunately it went that way? Or are you not going to be able to accept like that maybe that did happen if when all the evidence comes out and maybe it just wasn't how you thought?
Right. To be real with you, Pep, God forbid, and I know, I'm saying, all my heart, and I got a lot of faith in our system, and I got a lot of faith in just the higher power. I don't feel like Melly's life and career and legacy ends like this, right? I feel like he's so much greater, so much bigger than that. There's somebody whose talent is out this world. So I don't feel like the universe itself wanted to end like that. But playing devil's advocate, if Melly was to be found guilty, that shit would fuck me up. Not only because I'm losing a friend and a brother, because remember, they're gonna give him the death penalty. They're not just throwing him in prison for life, so they're gonna kill him. So that's another funeral, basically. But I think, me personally, that shit will fuck me up because I'll be blindsided because I will never see it coming, because I never seen anything where that would be the route taken for Sack and Juvie off Melly. So if he do get found guilty and there's undeniable evidence that shows it, personally, I would be broken and I would have my trust issues will probably flare up times 10. Because if Melly could do that to his friend, then what can anybody else do to somebody that family and friendship and stuff? So that would fuck me up. I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably go in a bubble and be very, very, like, very attentive of what's going on around me. Like, I wouldn't give nobody no pass. Nobody. Because if he could do that, then anybody could do that. You know what I'm saying? That's how strongly I feel about their relationship that they had. So and then I would want to know why, like, from him. Why? What happened?
This is the simple trick that Amazon, Target, and Macy's hoped you'd never find out. You want to know what it is? It's this browser extension that will make you...
What happened?
I think that's the single thing that I think the Melly fans just can't make sense of. Even for me, I follow the case closely and I want to know the truth, but nobody's really offered anything up as far as like, why would he do this? You can see from all the social media posts and the interviews that those guys were really tight, and it just doesn't make sense. So I can see where you're coming from.
They on his face, bro. Like, let me take off the glasses. They are here and here. Do you know how much love you gotta have for somebody to put them on your face?
Yeah, man.
So,
Well, you know,
no.
he's been waiting for trial for what is it? Damn near 3 years now, 4 years?
Yeah, four,
Wow.
going to 4.5.
You know, I feel like every month they're saying, you know, the verdict's coming in the next few months, and it just keeps getting delayed. It was meant to be like January, right? Or
No, this
something.
it can't be no verdict coming. The jury, we just picking juries.
I feel like a lot of the blogs, they're just posting like, you know, Melly results coming soon, coming soon, coming soon.
Yeah, they just clickbaiting because you got to process before you have a verdict. I don't feel like Melly get a verdict till August, September.
Really? Wow.
Yes, so that's fun facts for you guys.
Mm.
There's no verdict coming till August, September. So
Damn.
the trial did start. Everything is happening, but I personally don't see a verdict happening until late August, September, because you still got a picture. Go to the defense. Go to the motions. It's a premeditated murder case, death penalty. Then it's a death penalty case. So it's another step before you get to the case. You get what I'm saying?
Mm. It's crazy, man. You know, I think anyone that's a fan of Melly is just hoping that it works out and that it's not as it all seems. But you know, hopefully we'll find out soon. It's something I want to ask you about, and I know a lot of other people want me to ask you about. I totally understand if it's not something you want to talk about, and I'll respect that if that's the case. But you know, would you be willing to talk about, you know, the night that kingvon passed, and you obviously were there?
Of course. I mean, it's my personal experience, so I'm always down to talk about it. I'm not against. I'm someone like I'm comfortable in my truth, comfortable in, you know what I'm saying, and what's going on around me, and I'm not dumb. So I'm never against talking about something. It's a conversation. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that, man. And, you know, I know you've spoken about it several times before. You know, I don't want you to just repeat the same stuff everybody else has asked you. So maybe I can ask you a few new things and a few things that, you know, maybe will give people a bit more insight as to what was going on. So obviously that night, you know, you were all kind of out wanting and supporting kingvon play a show. You know, I see it's in my documentary kind of the footage of Von at that show, and he's in good spirits. He's with his boys. You know, it's all positive. So it's kind of, I think from a lot of people watching that, I think it was kind of almost hard to believe that just, you know, how the hell did shit transpire in such a weird way? So, you know, I feel like I've heard you before kind of say that maybe you didn't realize, or it just didn't seem like there was tension, or that Von was, you know, going to have a beef with someone or try and catch someone lacking that night. So, what was like, what was just the vibe that evening as far as, you know, you're all just out having a good time. Obviously, he ends up with a location that wasn't what you thought, but like just generally, like what was the vibe that night? You know, I imagine it was positive.
So yeah, the vibe, it was Vostok birthday, right? So I remember, they called me for this show, right? I take Von bookings very seriously because I know the level he was at, right? Just the world, you know, there's a lot of things that we spoke about in the interviews, but the world don't know. That night, Von did not go out really for work, because that show was so low and cheap. I denied it. Like yo, bro, no, we're not doing that. And he called me, and his DJ called me, and he was like, yo, bro, that's all they could do. I'm like, man, I'm charging 40, 50,000, man. We're not doing that. But Vaughn called me and was like, hey, no, track, let's do it. I want to go because it's Vostok's birthday. And Vostok, you know what I'm saying, haven't really celebrated his birthday like that. And he had like the project just dropped, the album Welcome to Oblock. He was super excited. I think we was number one on Apple Music. You know, it didn't go through billboards all that yet, but we was number one on Apple Music. It was a moment of just of accomplishment. It was just like, it felt so good. He just wanted to enjoy it with his fans and enjoy it with his friends and his family. So we took the booking and we went to a venue, which I don't remember the name of the venue at this point. But after that booking, it was like the show was good. It was a special guest. He performed when he had the blue outfit on. That's when you see us in the picture and everybody. You know, it was great. So when that show finished, it was all positive vibes. It was the same. You know, it was the same environment, and he wanted to keep the night going. And this is where I'm actually a little confused too, because now over time passed by and I'm learning more information from the internet and I'm seeing more things, and I'm here thinking like, damn, Was it like, I don't know if he planned to go to that after hour spot and we just didn't know about it. And you know, Chicago so it's so weird, like where like they'll talk to their ops, they'll FaceTime, they I don't know, it's a little different over there. So I don't know per se if it was planned for him to go there because there's a lot of speculations like, oh, he was set up, this was that. Bro, the person that made the decision to go to the after hour spot was Vaughn. Wasn't me, wasn't his team. Like, I literally had to redirect the whole party, everybody was with, to the after hour spot. Like, yo, where Vaughn at? Oh, because I jumped in another car, right? I jumped in another car and stuff like that. So when he's heading over there, I'm like, damn, okay, cool. Everybody, let's head over there. So we go over there. He's in a car, he's chilling, he's relaxing, it's cold. He got, you know, female with him in the car. He's he's doing what he do. I don't take nothing for it. So by the time
yeah, I might go buy some Cartiers for all my savages. Like we done came along.
to the area, there's not a booking. Nobody's booked. So there's a million other places, but I guess that spot is the after hour spot because you got to realize we went to the now this is the after hour spot. So this is too many clubs that's open 4 or 3 in the morning. So maybe Quando was on the same type of vibe. You know, keep the night going. Everybody want to keep the night going. Want to keep having fun. You know, people drinking. They have, you know, they don't, you know, they swimming. So, you know, they want to keep the night going. So that situation, if it happened like that, where they both naturally pulled up to the spot and they ran into each other, then I don't feel like Vaughn played it where he came out there for trouble. I think it just happened to go that way, where, you know, so and so having a weapon and the fight and all that, and it led to that. But I personally, it wasn't that atmosphere that night, because I'm going back to what you're saying, how the atmosphere was. It wasn't tense and violent. It was like everybody was just having a good time. Like it was genuinely a positive and happy time. So that little switch when we got there and all that happened, it escalated to violence. It was, I was blindsided by it, and a lot of people was blindsided by it because that wasn't the temperament that was around that night. And that whole night we was on some like, yo, we trying to find this is this. Then I would have been like, damn, okay, I knew this was gonna happen. But it was really more part. He took a small booking to go have fun to celebrate his cousin and his release. So the whole night was happy. It wasn't a negative vibe, you know.
I feel you, man. You know, it seems like, you know, from my research, and bear in mind, you know, I'm just a guy in England trying to find out what happened to one of his favorite rappers, right? I'm not trying to expose anyone or trick anyone, you know, but I think there's a couple of things I think people made a lot of deal out. You know, there was one recording that seemed to show, you know, when car trucks were driving away from that venue where the first show was, there was music. Is that something you remember, or is that just a coincidence?
I mean, I'm not doubting that one of the cars will play YoungBoy. YoungBoy is one of the biggest artists of this generation. You can't take that away from him. Like YoungBoy music, you know what I'm saying? Like, and even at that time, if they did have a situation, because a lot of people, when I say these things, I'm being political. Me, I will ask everybody else you want to ask. Me as a 100K track, I did not know my artist, my friend, had a problem with that count. I did not know that. I personally didn't know that. Whatever you feel like may happen with his women, with his baby mama, with his Asian dog, whatever, that's cool. But you guys got to realize that just because everybody else may think they know, I mean, I personally had to recall that they had an issue. So I'm not doubting the Cars was playing YoungBoy, because it wouldn't be a reason not to play YoungBoy.
No, totally. You know, it's one of those things where it's almost like it's a detail that it really stands out, but it doesn't really mean anything.
Right.
You know, another thing that I think is interesting that it's not really relevant to that night, but you mentioned you guys were kind of celebrating Von. You know, I think Welcome to Oblock went number 13.
Oblock.
Welcome to when
Yeah, it went number 13 on Billboard, but it was number 1 on Apple Music, and that was his first time ever having a project that's number 1 on Apple Music. And to him and to us at that time, yo, that's an accomplishment because he's number 1 on Apple Music. You know, we didn't get to see the Billboard reactions till way later.
Oh, really? Because another thing I thought was interesting, which I don't think a lot of people picked up on, was, you know, Welcome to Oblock. It essentially knocked Youngboy off of the chart down, and Von basically jumped above Youngboy on the charts. I was curious to know whether that was something he reacted to or noticed, or if he ever even mentioned, or maybe he just was oblivious to that.
He didn't get it. I don't think he got a chance to. He died before we go on Billboard. We were celebrating Apple Music being number 1 on Apple Music. Like the Billboard and all that stuff came after. So that happened like that, and it happened just by the universe. Feel me? He didn't even know. Like, Von didn't get a chance to see what number that happened on Billboard. He died like 3-4 days. Damn. It takes a week for Billboard to put the stats and sales and stuff.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he never got a chance to kind of see, because that would have probably been his biggest Billboard charting hit. And kind of,
well, other than What It Means to Be a King that dropped last year. Yeah, but no, he didn't get a chance to, because you know what I'm saying. But if we was celebrating that we was number 1 on Apple Music, for sure it was number 1 on Apple Music.
That's the thing, man, because the project was huge. You know, I remember when it dropped, and obviously, you know, Von passing away kind of overshadowed how well the project was doing before he passed. It was kind of everywhere. Anybody that listens to this sort of street hip hop drill music, you know, it was the project. And like,
it felt polished. It felt like a polished drill album that you heard a lot of albums, but you never had a storytelling artist, drill type of artist polish a project like that, where there's a women records and there's storytelling records, then there's drill ready to go, you know what I'm saying, bag of body records, and there's sentimental. So yeah, that album was amazing. He found it. He found that loophole from being a drill rapper, but not abandoning it, but polishing it to where drill mainstream. Feel me?
Yeah, so, man. You know, it's crazy what he achieved. I guess going back to that night, obviously, you know, you were shot in that incident, right?
Yeah, I got hit in the leg.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, I can't imagine what that's like. I never been shot, but you know what I'm saying.
Let's get into the stake.
That first time being shot too. That was a crazy experience.
So I guess I want to know. It seems like that moment when all that shit went down was
dude vibes just like, I feel like his vibes are just fake towards all his so-called artists that he managed. Everything just seemed fake. And I'm a type of dude that I can read people. I can read body language. I can read through by looking at somebody in their eyes. One, I can't read this man. He's mysterious. It's like you don't even know who he is. Like, you don't know if he a police officer, like my boy King AK said. You don't know if he a regular street dude, an informant, a federal agent that's working undercover, that's putting all these rappers in jail. Because like, if you really think about it, everybody that he damn near managed get locked up. If Vine was still alive, he'd be in the feds. Hot Boy, he locked up. Melly, he locked up. And the list goes on, bro. So that rumor might be true. This man might be a low-key federal informant, bro. Like, it's playing in the industry, the back scenes of the industry, playing like a fucking manager, and really a federal informant getting in the inside of these groups, of these street rappers, and getting these boys indicted, like, and convicted. Because it's like, yeah, you're right, Vine. Story of Vine, man. Every single case he has got locked up for, he been acquitted of all charges. Now it's stuff that coming out. Since he been managed under 100K track, if that man was still alive, he'd be in federal custody right now, right along with the other folks or 6 folks, the big 5, the sloppy 5, he'll be in there right along with them. They just don't sit right on my mind, bro. Like, it's something with this man, bro. It's a good feeling. There's something with this man. Something ain't right about it. It's just me.
Was chaos. So that's going to be something traumatic for you to remember. But
Can't read
what was your experience of
The
that?
unreadable.
Because, like you say, you got shot, so you're probably
Yeah,
worrying
them
about you getting
unreadable
shot, not
niggas.
necessarily all the stuff that's going on.
Them
A
be
lot of
them
people have
niggas
seen the
that be
CCTV footage, but you know what I'm saying, that's a perspective
police undercovers
that nobody in the situation
informants.
actually had. You're there. You probably
Something
only
ain't
seeing
right
a few things
about it.
going on. So what was your experience of
No
what
way
went
around
down?
it.
Like, you know, where were you when you heard shots fired, and then where did you end up when shit calmed down?
Right. So there's a lot of different like views and perspective with that night, and a lot of people confuse me with someone else. I guess because maybe we look similar, maybe my hair length. Well, no, not really, because my hair was way longer at that time. But yeah, so I'm the person that came from the other side. So the whole crowd. And well, the whole crowd is, we walk out. So we leave the car, we walk in. For, you know what I'm saying, for some reason, and it's like I can't like call it, like, bro, like I'm not here to give y'all a scientific answer, like, bro, it just happened that way. I personally said, you know what, I'm not gonna go that way, I'm gonna go this way, right? It just happened. So I'm walking on the opposite side of everything, because I didn't take it that it was gonna escalate or things like that, because you know, I'm like, all right, cool, we go, like everybody, we're going to the club. You know, even though Vaughn temperament was a little fiery, I'm not taking it anything where it's about to be going down. So I'm on the other side of him, and then we all meet. By the time I get across where he's at, he's already fighting and already going down. I'm backing up. I'm backing up. I'm backing up. I had the black stuff on, the black jacket on, stuff like that. You know, I'm backing up. I'm backing up. And then all I hear is "Doo, doo, 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 doo." And then I felt this like a pain go through my body. I'm like, oh, you feel me? And then I just started my adrenaline pumping, and I know I'm hit, but I don't know where I'm shot at. Like, so at that time, I'm complete first time getting shot, first time in a situation, and it's now the situation where I'm seeing like what's going on. Like, this is all happening so fast, so I'm really figuring out, like, let me go find out, let me go find safety, let me go, you know, take shelter to see, you know, where I got hit at. So I left. Like, when it's all going down, like, I think a lot of people mistake me for the gentleman that was by the door, that was walking to the door and walking back to the car. Like, yo, y'all wrong. Like, I don't even know half of that is going on. I'm seeing that later on, like y'all seen it, because by the time I got shot, I go to the other part. Like, I'm running or walking to the other part of the lot, and I'm trying to figure out where I got shot at. And I still can't find where I got shot at. It's to a point where, like, I I start feeling my, like, leg going numb. I'm like, oh, I got shot in the leg somewhere, but I don't know where. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm taking cover. There's more bullets, more shots, more shooting going on. I'm trying to find a car just running people over. Yo, that shit was like a massacre. Like, a lot of people take that day and they justify it based on just Kingvon, because he was the artist, who was the one that died. But yo, random people got ran over by cars, other friends got shot. That shit was really like one of the worst things you could experience. It was damn near a mass shooting. It's like, because you don't know where it's coming from. So, you know, by the time I'm figuring out what's going on, I'm ducking, dodging. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if somebody's coming to shoot me. If the people are shooting, feel me? I was just trying to find safety. And when things calm down a little bit, all the cars is gone. My security guard is looking, you know what I'm saying? They looking for me in cars. Man, my leg is already numb at that point. I don't even feel my leg. They're in the car, go straight to the hospital. So I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm blindsided by everything. I'm catching. I found out I didn't even know Vaughn got shot. I found out Vaughn got shot after I'm in the hospital. I'm getting told like Vaughn is shot, Vaughn is shot, because I don't know any of that happening. The car driving off, none of that. The you know, low Tim and the get shot, whatever. The car, like I don't know anything. I get hit. I'm trying to figure out where I got hit. I'm taking cover. So I find out everything after that. All that happens. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy, man. You know, I've seen that footage probably 100 times, and you know, even every time you see it, it's really hard to tell what's going on. You know, there's so much chaos.
It's
You know,
crazy.
I think, you know, I've looked at the footage a lot of times. I'll be honest, like, I can't say I was able to identify you. You know, I know that there's sort of a rumor going around that you're, like you say, the guy by the door. And, you know, some
Yeah,
people have said, you know, they think they saw you hand something to somebody, and that
yeah.
maybe,
That's not me. Yeah, that's
yeah,
not like I'm not. Listen, all that character, that person, you know what I'm saying? That, you know what I'm saying? We all, you know what I'm saying, got a relationship. I'm not here to put nobody on a spotlight, you know what I'm saying? But no, like I'm nowhere by the door. I'm nowhere by the car. Like I'm gone. Like I get shot and I'm limping away. I'm trying to figure out where I got hit at. So I wouldn't know anything of that nature, like cars, key, like the door, to the point where I'm seeing some of these like reactions. I'm hearing some of these stories, and I'm like, bro, y'all do know at that time my dreads was to my back, and how am I shot? And I'm moving around like that, like going back door, like, bro, man, I don't know if you guys been shot before. After that adrenaline stopped moving, you stop moving. So I was, I couldn't do all that. I was trying to figure out if I'm gonna die or not.
I feel you, man. You know, I can't say that I was able to identify you in the footage whatsoever. You know, I believe what you're saying. I guess just the other thing I think people want to clear up, just to get your response on it. You know, obviously there was the situation where, you know, the cops opened fire, ended up shooting two people, of them lost life. A lot of people have said maybe you were one of the cops, or that you're involved, or some
Yeah,
shit like that. I personally don't believe that, but you know, I don't know whether
crazy.
that's a rumor that you've had to deal with a lot, or whether you kind
I
of just
do.
been frustrated
I
by people
believe
saying
that.
shit like that.
No cap.
Um, I mean, being frustrated about people making a whole storyline of me being a cop don't make no damn sense. Like first of all, if I'm gonna be all right, guys, this is real life. This is real. This is
Don't get me wrong. Before you start explaining yourself like he already did, I don't believe he an actual cop. I don't believe he's an actual Fed, like federal cop. I believe he's a federal informant. A federal informant can do plenty of things, and you will never know they're an undercover informant. He probably didn't get it. I don't know this man history. They can like the prosecutor everything. They can basically make shit disappear to where the public can't see his history or what he got going on if he is a federal informant. I don't believe he a cop, but I don't believe he a cop, but he could be an undercover. Now undercovers do work in industries and play certain roles as drug dealers and street guys and shit so long for years and years and years to the point where you actually believe him. Like damn, he been doing this for 10 years. He a manager or he a producer or he a backup dancer or he a actor. But y'all don't understand. That's why the feds. That's why I say when the feds pick you up, they got you. When the feds got you, they got you because they've been watching you for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. They've been following you for 15 years. They had people that's close to you that you didn't build relationships with, that you thought them was your partners, that was moving work with you. Shooting probably even got in certain situations with you just to get you convicted, just to build up a case on you. They willing to go above and beyond to get who they want. And they'll build relationships with you for years on top of years to make you the last thing you think is this motherfucker is a undercover or this motherfucker is a paid informant. That's the last thing you think. You'll be like, damn, not my dog. No, your dog was that at the beginning. You just didn't know when you met him. He was who he was. You feel me?
Like reality, right? Executive. You me when Vaughn died and you not used to my story, go do your due diligence and go do your research. I've been doing music for over 15 years. I actually I was a rapper, I was selling CDs, I was with Kodak, I was moving around. Like if you go look at my history, go
And
100K
getting niggas
track,
locked up.
track
Don't leave
makers,
that.
whatever you want to call it, you'll see that I've been active in music for a long time. I have no profession but being a artist or being an executive. Now, you live in a world of social media and it's media, it's content.
Hey, have you ever tried World of Tanks? Ah! No, why? I got this game in my.
Is that with Officer Francois like been shot? Like, where is that even true? Is that even legit? Like, was Officer Francois even shot that
Hell
night? Like, you know
no.
what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Officer
even know if that's even. I don't
Francois.
even know if that's like a
Hey, shout
edit
out King
where they
AK,
put like
man.
a voice. Bro, you could do so many things for a story.
You
I'll
thought
never
of that
know.
Officer
But
Francois shit.
personally, if I'm an officer, like I'm a cop, bro. I've been arrested. I've been in jail. I got previous records, prior records, things like that, bro. If I'm not a cop. I'm a regular person doing living a life that I build and work for, and I've been in unfortunate situations. Yes, my artist is incarcerated. Yes, my artist got shot and got killed. But bro, I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not someone. I can't tell you what's going to happen. All I can do is do my job, is do my work, is do the best that I can do. So if situations happen, I got to deal with it the best way I can. I got to be there for Melly. I got to be there for Vaughn. I got to be there for his family. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an executive. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. I'm somebody that pride myself in being one of the biggest executives in the music game. I'm 31 years old and I'm in the field making multi-millions of dollars selling breaking records. Like I don't have no profession and no dream of being a cop. No disrespect to a cop, no disrespect to the officers. All my life, I've been targets by cops. You know what I'm saying? I've been trying to get out their way, not go to jail, not get arrested, not catch charges. So,
I,
I don't know. I'm not here to paint a picture that I'm like all against police and that they gotta do their job. People gotta do what they gotta do. You know what I'm saying? You got that's how they provide for their family. But unfortunately, that's not me. You know what I'm saying? I'm what I am, a 100K track, a record label, manager, artist, entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a cop, not an FBI. I don't want to be, never had intentions to be, never had aspiring dreams to be. Maybe in a movie I'll play a cop, for sure. I play a police officer, I play whatever. Give me a bag, you know what I'm saying? I play a damn dentist, whatever. I play Traveler Ross. Whatever y'all want, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, my reality is who I am. I'm an executive. I
no,
can't be a cop.
for real, I think it's a long shot that, what I'm saying, they're going to send someone undercover. They're going to spend 10 years making them a millionaire music exec and
Right.
build up the whole career, I'm saying, have everything go down. And then, I'm saying, all leading up to this moment. It's very far-fetched.
Right.
But you know what it's
And then
like with the internet,
what's the and what would be the goal, right? I didn't know Vaughn life. Like, okay, before Vaughn became an artist, he was a person in Chicago. I'm from Florida. I'm from Broward County, Florida. I'm gonna I'm gonna be a cop or agent to go under Vaughn when he became a rapper. Like it's just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like what? There's a task force, so we have a FBI task force that's out here to get every upcoming young man or woman that's trying to do music, and like I don't get. They should,
DJ Khaled's probably a Fed undercover too. You know what I'm saying? Khaled, Diddy, all of them got to be.
I guess the story of that happening sounds super interesting to some people, but in reality, let's make it make sense, guys. It got to make it got to be a bigger overall picture. And then okay, so now I'm a cop. My cover is blown. Like, what am I going to do now? Do I just become an executive? Do I go try to work at another 4? Like, where does the story go? Like,
you need a transfer, bro.
I want to know where it goes. Like, y'all painting the story.
Can
somebody tell me the ending goal of Officer Francois? I want to know it for myself. Man. With this, it sounds very interesting. And I do. Okay, before Vaughn became an artist, he was a person in Chicago. I'm from Florida. I'm gonna be a op or agent to go under Vaughn when he became a rapper. Like it's just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like what? There's a task force, so we have a FBI task force that's out here to get every upcoming young man or woman that's trying to, and like I don't get.
Yeah,
they should.
DJ Khaled's probably a Fed undercover too. You know what I'm saying?
Every
Khaled,
young man or
Diddy,
woman,
all of them got to be.
that's streets affiliated, that's gang affiliated. Or you think all these so many RICO cases is being like put together? Like, I guess so many labels / rap groups are getting indicted on several charges, on gang-related charges, gang RICOs and shit like that, and things of that nature. Yes, it's a such thing, my boy. You just may be a part of that.
I guess
it's called the Rap Industry Task Force. The motherfucking it's a whole other thing just strictly for the music industry. They after these rappers badly. It exists, my boy, and he knows this. If he's been doing this for 15 years, he knows this shit exists, and I think he knows more than just that it exists. He has something to do with the inside work.
The story.
No hating shit. I don't know this man, like, and I really don't know of him. I just heard of him through because of certain artists that I might listen to. But I done did a little background shit on him, and this guy's a mystery, bro. Believe it or not, this guy's a mystery.
Of that happening.
I just know a lot of people that he managed
to some people, but in reality, it makes sense, guys. It got to make it got to be a bigger overall picture. And then okay, so now I'm a cover is blown. Like, what am I gonna do now? Do I just become an executive? Do I go try to work at another 4? Like, where does the story go? Like,
you need a transfer, bro.
I want to know where it goes. Like, y'all painting the story. Can somebody tell me the ending goal of Officer Francois? I want to know it. With this, it sounds very interesting, and I do want to make a movie about it. Because
you live your life and keep living your life and getting money throughout these artists until you can't get no more out of them. Get them locked up and convicted for death penalty type of charges or life-saving type of charges, and just go on and on to the next up and coming rapper that's out the streets. They got a background history of violent crimes, of gang activity. Yeah, and keep getting the book to make a lot of money off of them. Keep getting the book and keep being a great, outstanding informant that turns in over crazy evidence on your so-called artists, like turning in their phones in into the feds and shit like that, and going on interviews and throwing hints out to the feds on your artists, which leads up to them getting indicted on RICO charges and murder charges and aggravated murders and shit like that on their best friends. Come on, man, it just don't sound right. Don't make sense, man. You gotta make it make sense. His explanations don't be good enough.
It sounds very interesting, but I don't know in a real life scenario where's the ending goal. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be a hell of a movie, man. But listen, I'm happy to kind of move on from the Von stuff. I feel like I really subjected you to a lot of questioning. You know what I'm saying? A lot of interrogation. But I'll be honest, man. Like I'm interested in you just as an individual. Like obviously, you kind of had your past in the music industry. You know, I've learned your story. You know, you were in music. You were kind of running things there. Maybe in a when the game was a little bit different, and then you kind
Right.
of
More regional.
yeah, and then you came up and kind of got involved with kind of the business side. You know, you were working with the Sniper Gang merch stuff that you made successful. I didn't know until a little while ago,
And I
like
see how
that was
many
you. I'd
times
seen that
Kodak
stuff
had
everywhere. I'm like,
went to
damn, that's
jail
Track that
since
was
he been
involved in
out.
that. So I guess
Yeah.
He was a
something I
part of
really wanted
that.
to ask you actually, because you're kind of getting back into the rap game as a rapper yourself now.
Yeah.
How has the game changed
Since
from
Kodak
back in the day
came
when you
up
were
in the game, he
your
couldn't
first
stay out
stint
of
as a
prison
rapper
in his
to
prime.
now where you're
Couldn't stay
coming
out of
in to
prison.
try again, but also from this
Track
position
was
as an
working
exec,
with
so
this
you've kind of
man
seen the business
with the
from
sniper gang shit.
the bird's eye
Think
view
about it.
from all these different
Make it
angles. Like
make sense.
what have you learned about the rap game, I guess, over those experiences?
It changed because social media and streaming. Because back then, if you had to get a record out, you would have to physically sell it or pass it out with CDs, or you would have to use the platforms that is designated for those particular things, like 106 Park, BT, things like that in that nature. And it was easy. It was make it, but once you do get a little established, then it meant more because it wasn't as much people doing it. Now, where it's a little bit easier to make it, but it's a lot quicker for you to be gone and diminished because there's so many other ways to be seen, heard, and so many music and things getting pushed out. So, I would say
Meet Grammarly Go. Go-to solution for getting quality work done quickly.
this, once you make it for yourself, you got to really apply it into building. Like me as a rapper again and doing music again, I built a brand that's so huge with 100K. Now I got to keep on building it as a executive, but as an artist. And I'll say that to a lot of other artists, you can't just drop a record anymore and just let time pass. You got to continue building your brand and building yourself, because 3 months later, there's another artist. 4 months, there's another artist. 6 months, there's another artist. It's so fast that if you're not building a core fan base and core people that's like looking for you, it'll be there and gone fast. So it's easier to make it, but quicker to lose it in this generation. I feel like.
It seems like in this generation, man, everything is just instant. You know, songs just drop instantly, artists just drop tapes quickly. You know, people come and go,
Yeah.
people become stars overnight, they fall off and get exposed overnight. So it's
Yeah.
it's a very high reward game now being a rapper, maybe more so than it was back then, no?
Yeah. Facts.
So
Facts.
so what drove your decision to kind of you've achieved so much as an exec, not the allegations against them, holy water. Von and Melly were two people that came into the rap game over the last few years and just completely shook things up. Like you say, very quickly got to these incredible heights. Von was charting on Billboard, working with Lil Durk. You got Melly, he was running around with Kanye, some of the biggest artists in the game, charting hella times. What motivated you to say, you know what, let me get back into rapping? Let me give this another shot. And I'm saying, what was your mindset when you were making that decision?
Really, it was just time, man. Just like opportunity and just not wanting any regret, because it's a little different, right? If I came into this game as executive, like, yo, I'm gonna be a manager, I'm gonna be a record label owner, and I'm gonna do that, and I started with that time frame, then that question and that type of, what I'm saying, stigma, I would understand. But you guys gotta realize that that's not me. Like, even though the story may seem better like that, but 100K Track wasn't the executive. He wasn't the manager behind Kingvon and became super successful and broke all the barriers and like from I started doing music at 16 years old. I'm 30, just turned 30. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I'm 31 now, but I'm saying I'm in my 30s. I started at 16, and from 16 to 24, all I did was rap. That's all I did was music. Like I dropped albums, I dropped singles, I went on tour to Florida. I provided for my family as an artist. So it's not like I never had I wasn't an artist. I was an artist, but when I got with Kodak, I made that decision. I'm 24, make that decision to be like, hey, I'm around Kodak. He's going up. If I'm in his circle and I'm trying to rap, then what purpose do I serve him, right? Because he's already rapping. So let me try to find a better purpose where I could help build the brand and help make the brand bigger rather than try to jump in and make my own situation bigger. And it made more sense 6 years ago at that time for me to do Snapping Gang Apparel, which was the merchandise with me and Kodak to, bring more awareness to the brand, make some more income. And then from there, that was his Jack Boy, Never Look Back. That went good. Had a hit single called Green Eyes that took off. That was going around Florida. Then found Melly, signed Melly. He became successful. Then found Bond, then 30 Deep, then Hot Boy. So it's like this to make it short. I've been in this circle of 5-6 years as an executive where I never had a chance to really pause because I've been putting in work and I've been putting in that traction. I went from me and my wife to a 15 people staff, 20 people staff. I employed more people. I'm working with more artists. So it's not that I didn't want to do music. I'm focused on what's working and what's building. So fast forward, I'm 30, I'm turning 30. I'm like, okay, I'm established. I got a staff of 18 to 20 people that's working day to day for my company. My artist is established. I'm very well known financially. I'm good. I could do whatever I want to do as far as take care of my bills, take care of my peoples. Why not? Right? Like, you feel me? Why not come back to something that I love? Like when people wanted to be a basketball player or athlete, I wanted to be a rapper. So me making an adult decision at 24 to go back and to focus on the branding and building a dynasty and that I could change my life with and my kids' life with shouldn't hinder me to wanting to do something that I was passionate about. So if I'm where I'm not getting younger and I'm saying I'm at a great age, I'm in an area where my brand, one of the biggest brands, then why not use those resources for myself and keep doing what I'm doing? Like I just signed a joint venture deal with 300 to Warner Music. So I'm not trying to, what I'm saying, deviate from being an executive. I love breaking new artists. I love changing human lives. Shout out to Breezy Lynn in New York, you know what I'm saying? She's one of my new artists that I'm working with, Lil 50, with me and Lil TJ from Cleveland. So I'm very excited about breaking artists. Yo, I'm 31 years old, bro. I'm a young man. I'm gonna do what I want to do. If I'm passionate about music, I don't do it because I need